Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, peoples. Happy day after Punchki Day to you all. And wouldn't you know it, that is what our podcast is going to be about today. Not Punchkis necessarily, but sugar. So, like always, guys, before we get into talking to you about the effects of sugar, what it does to your body, all the negative stuff, if you would please do us a big favor and subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching us or listening to us pretty much on any platform, there's a little subscribe button. If you could press it, you'll get notified right away when we drop a new podcast episode, so you don't have to miss a bunch of weeks. Keep up with everything, and it'll help us grow the podcast. And then secondly, if you could share it with somebody, maybe you're telling your spouse, put the cookies down at night, or put the donuts down at night, or cupcakes, or Twinkies, or whatever it is, share it with them. That way they get their mind right, and we can help other people in the process. Now, today, you guys will be hearing this on Wednesday, but it will be the day after Punchki Day. If you don't know what Punchki Day is it just a Midwest thing? Or is it around the world?
I was just wondering that. I mean,
I don't know.
Easter's
It's a big
around
Midwest
the world.
thing. But essentially, there is one day of the month, at least where we live in the Midwest, called Punchki Day, or Fat Tuesday. And what it is a big, gigantic, jelly-filled or custard-filled donut that's like the size of a softball. And they have them everywhere. They have them at bakeries. They have them at Kroger. Anywhere you go shopping, it is this one day. I don't know the backstory on it, but it's this big thing where everybody goes out and gets these punchkis one day out of the year. Now, these punchkis are said to have almost 1,000 calories per pop. So, you think of that, that's like maybe half or more than half of your daily allotment of calories in one little jelly-filled donut thing. If you haven't seen one of these, they're massive. And so what we wanted to piggyback on, guys, is the effects of sugar in your body. Now, you guys probably know a lot of these. If you do a quick Google search, there's a laundry list of what's going to happen to your body when you have too much sugar. Type 2 diabetes, obesity, fatty liver disease, heart disease, stroke, tooth decay, gum disease, high blood pressure, kidney damage, liver damage, risk of certain cancers, mental health issues, mood swings, anxiety, depression. All this comes from sugar. Now, the bad thing is with the American diet as a whole is it's very, very difficult to get sugar out of everything. Almost everything has a small amount of it. So when you do go to the grocery store and you're picking out stuff for the week, super duper important, guys, that before you throw something in your cart, turn it around and just look at the amount of sugar on it. Protein bars are a great example for this. People are kind of naive to it because they'll look at the label and it says, oh, it has 20 grams of protein, 25 grams of protein. That must mean that it's something healthy for me. Or granola bars. Then you'll turn the back around. It has 20, 30, 40 grams of sugar in it. Where at that point, you might as well just have a protein shake and a Snickers bar because it's exactly the same thing. So trying to eliminate sugar as much from your diet to avoid that list that I just told you about is going to make a huge benefit to you. I kind of got in this bad habit after Halloween. We had all the kids' leftover Halloween candy. So we'd throw a movie on, I'd have a couple pieces, and nothing crazy, just the little fun-sized ones. But every day I woke up exhausted, and I was like, what the hell, am I not sleeping right? So quit the sugar. Automatically I wake up and I feel like I'm good. Have some water, have some coffee, and you start your day. But what happens, especially if you eat it at night, guys, you're sleeping, you're laying down, you get this big blood sugar spike in the middle of the night, and then the crash comes. So you're trying to wake up when you're in this crash, so you're double exhausted because your body was breaking down all that sugar at night. You're not burning it off, it turns into fat, and it can become a slippery slope. So in a nutshell, guys, look at the label, try to get sugar out of everything as humanly possible, and that way you can do the best of your human ability so you don't get on that list of all the stuff I talked about at the beginning.
Sugar is the number one thing to me. If I had to, gun to my head, say if I eliminate one thing from my life, what's going to be the like how am I going to lose weight the fastest or get healthier the fastest? It would be sugar. It wouldn't be, carbs, which carbs translate to sugar, which is why they're so targeted. But it's the number one, and a lot of it is because of a couple things you mentioned. So I'll try to not lose track. High caloric value. It's just naturally high in sugar. If you eat a chicken breast versus you eat a donut, the donut is way more high calorie because it's made of flour, sugar, right? And sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar. Then it's frosted with sugar and sprinkles and whatever, right? It's this artificial fake sugar stuff. So calories are off the charts. On top of it being an actual food, like protein in the chicken breast versus that, just the calories aside would keep you in the weight loss category or calories alone if you only ate sugar versus, and that's not even talking about what actually is going on with your body, why it would be awful to just eat that much sugar and no protein, strictly from a caloric basis. So naturally, if I said, hey, eliminate protein from your diet, or hey, eliminate sugar from your diet, or carbs or fats, one or the other is going to be less calories, which would result in weight loss, and it is the carbs and fats and all of these fuels and sugars. So if somebody said, Evan, I don't want to really, really dive in deep, I don't want to count, I don't want to track things, what is the one thing I could implement today that would lead to a happier, healthier me? It would be sugar. There's a simple, if I said, yeah, do everything you normally do, but no added sugar, people's lives would change dramatically. And it's because of that caloric intake that we're getting from it. It's because of the addictive traits, like you were mentioning, you having, Halloween candy, a couple, and you feel exhausted. You also crave it going on. That's why every night you do it, because every night you kind of reintroduce it to yourself and you go, oh, okay, I want it. And then in the morning, something like a pancake or Fruity Pebbles sounds better than egg whites and turkey sausage, because that's what has been introduced. That is what's being,
your body develops like a craving for it.
Addictive trait of it. So eliminating sugar in its own right is going to lessen the calories overall, and it's also going to lessen your inclination to want to stray from good, real, whole foods, because you're not going to have that addictive pull towards it. It's almost like a gravitational pull. Once you got it, anytime you got to make a choice between, good lean meats, protein, or vegetables. I'm like not thinking today. I feel like I'm not awake. Sorry. Stuff like that, you're going to be geared towards, or I could have the pizza or the pasta because they're carbs. Carbs are made from flours and added sugars and everything else in between. So it all ends up being the same at the end of the day. So it's a catch-22, because we're all addicted to it now because we have it in our diet standardly. Anytime you have a piece of bread, you're reintroducing these sugars into your life. Anytime you have, a pasta noodle, you're reintroducing these. So it's hard. It's not like it's an easy fix, an easy thing to just eliminate. But if you did, you would find it would be very easy to stay away from. And I say from experience, I've done it before. I think I'm going to do it again. Speaking of Fat Tuesday, it's Fat Tuesday because Lent starts, because it's leading up to Easter. And Lent, you usually give something up, and so I think was kind of the whole thing. I don't know the backstory either. I don't know the whole purpose, but I know it's kind of like your last hurrah. And these paczkis are awful. Do you like them?
No, and you know what? I am the biggest donut. That is my kryptonite.
Yeah, you are.
But I absolutely hate paczkis.
No, they suck.
It's almost too much sugar. You're like, dear God, this is just system overload. Where it's got jelly or custard in it, you got the donut already, the donut's glazed, it's got powdered sugar on it. So you're like, I'm going to feel like shit after I eat this. I don't want to do it.
Have 10 chocolate chip cookies then. Like,
yeah, seriously.
It's light years better than a paczki. Like, if you want to do this day of celebration, I guess if you want to call it that, where you just overindulge on sugar, Fat Tuesday, don't go with paczki. That's awful. Have 3 donuts, and then it's at least something you enjoy and you don't do all the time. Have a gallon of ice cream. It's like the same thing as having one of these. I don't know. Some people love them. Obviously, a lot of people love them, but never been my jam. And I like
No.
donuts too, but it's not the same to me. It's like I had one like 4 or 5 years ago. Not even one. I had, you know, a few bites of one, and I was like, this sucks. I would not waste this opportunity to just go be an idiot on this. This thing stinks.
Yeah.
But, this actually feeds into what everyone deals with is that's what's around. You go and you work in your corporate office or whatever, and it's Paczki Day. People bring in Paczki. So you go, yeah, okay, I'll have one. It's not even that you want it. It's that it's there. It's convenient. It's better than, a chicken breast that you brought from home that's cold that you got to microwave. Like, yeah. And that happens a lot in the modern American world. Oh, it's pizza day or it's this. I mean, there's gyms, not going to mention any names. We all know what they are. There's gyms that bring pizza on a certain day of the week. So it's like, well, if
That
convenience
kind of defeats the process.
convenience outweighs a lot. And to get back to sugar, it's in nearly everything, right? And it's all part of this master plan, which is another podcast, to keep us all in this rat race and addicted to the processed, fake, artificial foods and sugars and the convenience factor. It's like, yeah, I can cook at home, bring it with me in Tupperware, bring the Tupperware home, clean it, dishwasher, reload it the next day. I could do all of that. Or every morning I just grab a bag of those mini muffins that are so good and I just throw it away. I don't think twice of it. Or every morning I have, when I go to Dunkin' Donuts, I grab a donut and my coffee. And convenience factor is unavoidable. It's nice for things to be convenient. Don't get me wrong. I love it too, but the hard way is the right way. And sugar is brutal. Without
I know. And it just keeps you wanting it more and more. Like Evan said, if you think just caloric content and people that are filling up on sugar and processed crap,
just more.
Obviously, yes, it's going to cause inflammation. You have all these risk factors that go along with it. But calorie-wise, you think, okay,
Right.
let's say every day you try to get in 2,000 calories or 1,800 calories because you want to lose weight. You're eating clean. You're having, salad, chicken. Maybe you have some eggs for breakfast. You have something clean and light. And then you think, okay, that got me to about 1,800 calories, and I feel full. I feel satisfied. I'm not lethargic. My body feels good. I don't have brain fog. Everything's operating well. As opposed to the person that's filling up on sugar or processed stuff, you could be at 1,800 calories or 2,000 by noon, and you're not even satisfied. If you wake up and you have 2 Pop-Tarts, you have a Twinkie for a snack, you go to Mickey D's through the drive-thru, and then you have pizza for dinner, 1, you're going to feel like absolute garbage. 2, you probably doubled the amount of calories that you're supposed to get on a daily basis. And it's that big calorie bump up that obviously makes you gain weight. But if you think, okay, these are more caloric dense, they're not going to make me full, so I'm going to want to overeat again. This tastes really good, so I'm going to grab for something that's quick and easy again. It just has this snowball effect where the weight will never come off. And just like you said, if you can focus on one thing, if you go, somebody's stuck or you don't want to count macros or you don't want to follow nutrition, just give me one simple thing that I can do. Get sugar, processed crap out of your diet. Focus on real foods. We call them one-word foods. Broccoli is broccoli, chicken is chicken, fish is fish, beef is beef. And put those into your diet. And just like you would get a craving for sugar, your palate begins to change. And you'll start to want those healthy foods. It doesn't happen in one day, but eventually it is. You'll go back to eating something crappy or something that has a lot of sugar. You'll take a bite and you're like, holy shit. I can taste the chemicals and taste the additives and taste how sweet it is. I don't want this anymore.
And you can also really tell the effects, like the way your body works is they're all fuel sources, but your protein is like your home base, and that's what's actually building and fueling your muscle growth and gain and maintenance. But your carbs and fats are your fuels. So if you're only eating carbs and fats, you're just burning them, right? Now this is where metabolism comes into play. And some people have crazy fast metabolism, they just burn through them. But if you burn through them, that's why you're hungry in an hour. Like, you know when you
Yeah.
have pancakes, you know the full you get from eating pancakes? It's like unworldly. You know, when you're
Yeah.
done with a pancake, you're done. You're like, oh
They
my
don't
God,
even sound good. You're like, I
I'm
can't take one
full.
more bite or I'm going to throw up.
But an hour later, you could eat again because it's a fuel source, right? It's
Same with cereal.
cereal the same way. It sounds the best. It hits the spot. It leaves you satiated, feeling good, feeling full. Then you move on with your day. An hour later, you're like, okay, I'm hungry. It's because it's a fuel, right? Now, if you implemented protein, that's what's going to stick around, stay longer, and that's what makes the fuel. You know what I mean? That's when the carb part in this instance of cereal, that part that gets you full fast, but then dissipates fast, did its job to get you away from the table. But then the protein's doing its job to keep you fuller as it progresses, so you can make it 2.5, 3 hours between meals rather than one. And so this
Yeah.
is what we do. We wake up, we have the mini muffins. By the time we get to the work, oh, someone brought in donuts. Okay. And then lunchtime comes. Oh, it's someone brought in pizza, or there's a whatever. I always think drug reps, right? Back in the Donnie days. Drug rep brought in Mexican fiesta, so it's just tortilla chips, and you get like this grazing aspect. It's not because you're just bored, although that's a huge aspect, and the convenience, like I just said. But you're also not actually fueling your body. You're just hitting it with the I mean,
It's
you're
like
the
jet fuel. Burns up
fuel
super
quick.
quick, and then you
Yeah,
need more. Burns up
yeah,
super quick, and then you need more.
but it's not actually getting to the root of the problem, right? It's hitting like the top. You know, if you were falling, and the truth is you just need to land on something. It's just like getting a parachute that lasts 10 seconds. It's like, okay, you're not actually. I'm still falling, but you're making it
Slowing
easier
down the process. Yeah.
for a second. And what this does is you carbs and fats and carbs and fats and carbs and fats and carbs and fats. And by just the nature of these foods and the ingredients in the foods and everything that goes into making the foods and the process and the additives and the sugars, you eat about 3 times the amount of calories as you would if every single time there was an implementation of a good protein source. So it is that simple, and it's the dog thing I've said 1,000 times on this podcast, but the protein is your dog food, it's your kibbles and bits, and the other stuff you can have. Dogs every single day have table scraps or a treat or however you treat and raise your dog, but they still also have their food every single day. That is what's keeping them alive. That is what's fueling them. That's exactly the way we need to look at sugars and carbs and fats and proteins. Is our protein is the main thing. This is what we are designed to eat, and everything else adds to it, right? If you just sit down and you just have a chicken breast and then you try to just move on with your day, chances are you're not going to feel full. It's going to be harder. Now, 30 minutes from then, you will, but that's a tough 30 minutes. And especially with today, you only get a 30-minute lunch in the middle of your day. You want to feel full to move on. So, you have it with the things that get you satiated and full. But you don't just have the other. You know, PB&J, mac and cheese, pizza, these aren't whole meals, but that's how we eat them, right? They're side dishes. If you have a chicken breast and half a PB&J, that is 10 billion times better than just having a PB&J and moving on with your day. You're like 10,000% less likely to snack later, to have a sugar crash later, to reach for the sugary foods later, and it's all just because of what you're adding. You're adding in that real protein, that real food, rather than all the stuff you're subtracting. You're thinking, oh, I can't have this now, I can't have that now, so that means I have to have that. No, keep eating that stuff, but add in the protein, and it's dramatic how quickly you don't want that stuff anymore. You don't need it. You limit it. You alternate it. You switch from, white bread to quinoa because whatever, it goes better with it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's a crazy rat race. It's a weird, vicious cycle that everybody's in. And sugar is really the front runner. It traps us. It's not good for us. You remember, you might know the information better. Sorry if you don't, put you on the spot. But there was a big law thing that happened forever ago, like 15, 20 years, 25 years ago, where companies were marketing against fat rather than sugar. You
Yeah.
remember?
It was low fat, no fat, low fat, no fat.
Which we can all relate. We all know this happened all throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Is marketing no fat. It's fat free. It's fat free. It's fat free. Guess what? Everyone's still getting fat. So it doesn't That's not it, right? But what actually was going on is pumping full of sugar. We used to market pop, Pepsi, and Coke. Used to say it's a fat-free drink. People go, oh, there's no fat in it. It's good for me. It's healthy for me. No, 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 no. That is a mere, you know, fraction of what the deal is.
Yeah.
Interesting
And
stuff.
like how you said, like you wouldn't just feed your dog dog treats all day.
No,
And we're the same way. You wouldn't just give your body
the
the
treats.
human version of dog treats all
Right,
day. It needs to have kind of a baseline of health and nutrition.
right.
And I think I've said it on here before, but if you think just in terms of weight gain, how quick it can happen, there's 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. So if you think, okay, every day I have whatever my treat is, and that is, or two treats, and that equals 500 calories. Let's say you have 250 at night and 250 in the afternoon. That's 500 extra calories. And if you do that Monday through Sunday, all of a sudden a pound goes up on the scale. And then you do it again the following week. The pound goes up, or 2 pounds if you're eating a lot of it. But with sugar, guys, especially like all the highly processed garbage, just as general, these companies, they want you to buy their stuff. They're in it to make money. So they will try to make their stuff taste as delicious and addicting as possible.
And they're
Whether
allowed.
it's yeah, whether it's you can't just eat one potato chip or you can't just have one Oreo or one, chocolate chip cookie. They want you to go, oh my gosh, this is so good. I want another, 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 another. And then you're like, okay, I'm putting the bag down. The next day comes. Oh my God, they're still waiting down there for me. Can I go get it? As opposed to, how often do you have a chicken breast and a half or a salad and you're like, I want 6 more salads or 6 more chicken breasts? You're like, nope, I'm good. I'm full. I'm solid. I'm pretty much all good to go. But it's addicting for a reason. I think we said it before. It takes about 3 to 4 days. Let's say I started eating sugar on Monday. I binged and had a bunch of crap. It'll take probably until Thursday, Friday to get all that shit out of your body before it leaves. The cravings start to go away. And there's people that are like, I'm just addicted to sugar, or I'm addicted to chocolate, or I'm addicted to this, and I have it every night. And I'm like, well, you're not giving your body a chance for that craving to leave. You might make it a day or two, but then you cave in and you grab it again. And usually once you get through that third or fourth day, you're like, okay, I'm good. I don't really miss it. The habit is broken. Now, if you go back in, you start the process over again. But it's really important, if it's a birthday party or something like that, not a big deal. But if you're a habitual candy eater, sweet eater, you always go for the chocolate at night, make sure that you're kind of keeping an eye on that, because it is a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there, a couple hundred here. And if you do that night in and night out, all of a sudden the pounds come up. But if you want quick and easy, if you're plain Jane Joe Schmo and you just want to lose weight, try to get sugar out of as much stuff as possible without having to count calories or count macros. And it's amazing how quick your body will start to shrink. All the inflammation, the bloating goes away, the water retention. It's very, very easy, very, very effective to see results pretty darn quick if you can get sugar out of there.
It's why people, just eliminate pop from their life and drop 25 pounds. So you're just sugar. And here's this aspect, going back a couple podcasts. It's how weight loss drugs are made. They're not fighting fat gain. They're fighting sugar intake, right? The GLP-1s. That's what the whole.
So you don't crave it.
It's not a weight loss medication. It's a diabetes killing, which is glucose in your blood. Like, so it's crazy. It's that high octane, and it's poisonous, really, for people to have. It's weird because we don't have it and go, oh God, it's poison, and start smoking and burning on the inside like we would. But it is. It's not good. Like, there's no good. I mean, there's really no. When you're a little kid, it gives you energy boost, but you have enough energy in the world. Like, I don't know the benefit unless you're doing like a long feat. Like if you're running a marathon, and you're eating candy on the way. Yeah, it's because it's giving you those little blood sugar spikes, which would help you perform in something. But that's not what everyone's doing. No one's,
Yeah.
that
Few and far between.
yeah, we're sitting at cubicles or worse on our couch or worse in our bed all day, working our 9 to 5 on a laptop, scrolling our phones, doing nothing that people are supposed to be doing. It's a wild wake up call, and it's easier said than done. And it's just funny to think, like, I know you want, I know I want, I know you want, I know everybody wants to eat the yummy, sugary food. We want cookies, we want ice cream, we want cake. I want it. You want it. Of course we want it. The reason we want it is because we're eating it. And that's the end goal. Someone's got to be bigger than the other. It's the chicken or the egg. It's the carriage in front of the horses. It's like we want it because we're eating it. And if we can just knock it off or greatly reduce, we're going to find I don't even want it that more. And in doing so, I'll be replacing it with actual fuel source. In doing so, I'll be eliminating inflammation. I'll be losing weight. My joints will feel healthier. My life expectancy will be longer. My blood numbers, my A1C, all of the things will be changing and growing, and we will become healthier individuals. And it's fascinating. It can come down to one thing in a lot of people's lives. One.
I read a stat last night. I don't know if it's 100% true because I haven't verified it, but they said without serious change, the estimate by 2050 is that 3.8 billion adults will be overweight or obese, roughly 60% of the global adult population by 2050.
Wow.
Crazy. So more than half of the world will be
Right.
overweight or obese if things don't kind of course correct.
That's such a that's not an accident. That's not just the natural cause. That's what's so frustrating. It's like that's not just the natural occurrence of humanity is, yeah, we all just get really, really overweight. Like, no,
huge. We don't move. We eat crap, and we're killing ourselves, basically.
Right. Something is happening. Something has been implemented that is changing this. And it's down to the 5 things we always talk about. It's lack of movement. We don't move our bodies. We don't have to. It's nutrition is horrible. We don't eat real foods. Hydration, awful. Stress management and sleep. Sunlight. I had a better 5 listed out, and I lost them all just because I'm in a fit of rage. But yeah, it's concerning. You have I have a 3-year-old. You have a 9-year-old and a whatever. Like, it's not funny. Scary.
I know. Well, it's like all the cards in the deck are stacked against you, where you're like,
what are you gonna do?
Okay, I have to, you make a bad decision here and there. Is it the end of the world? No, but when you're like, this has to be, one, the knowledge of this that a lot of people don't have, like just knowing good foods from bad foods, the effects that they have on your body.
Right.
And if you don't know this stuff, or your kids don't know this stuff, or your family doesn't know this stuff, not that you're trying to harm them, but like you're just clueless as to what you're pumping into their bodies.
Hey, you just
and
don't
they get to be 15, 16, 17, 20, 30 years old, and their health is shit, and you're like, well, what did I do? You had no idea. And it's not your fault, but unless you do some digging, like a lot of people aren't wise to this stuff.
No. And it's weird because we've been doing it for however long, so it's been in our realm as a job, but it's not everybody's job. A small percentage of people are just fitness people. So yeah, it's very scary. I mean, heart disease kills more people than anything. So it's like it's not that far off. And it all, comes from the diet, the nutrition. Like, it's so obvious to me if you just look at life now in the average man. Let's just signal out men. The average man, the average 50-year-old man now, what he looks like, what his life expectancy is, how active he is, all of the things versus in 1950. It's like, okay, well, the jobs are totally different. Someone was going in and working physically, most likely a physical job all the time, and then when you need something, you're active afterward. Even small stuff like, oh, I got to go talk to my parents. It's not just a shoot them a text. It's physically getting in your car, driving to go talk to mom and dad or whatever your life
Yeah.
was. Right? That was what human life was. We and Chan were watching Friends last night, and they were all in their, the show Friends, right? They're all in their apartment, and there was a blackout, so all of the power was down, and they were all just sitting there playing. One Phoebe's playing the guitar, and like a couple are outside on the patio deck talking, and we literally were like, look at how it used to be. And this is just the '90s. This isn't even a long time ago. And it was like you had to just be with people. To blackout, you go, okay, friends, let's all get together and hang out. And
Yeah.
like we literally pictured what that would be like now. If we were with all of our friends in a setting, first off, no one would want to do that. Everyone would want to just go home and be by themselves and their family. You wouldn't want to be around people.
Yeah.
Second off, you would just be scrolling on your phones and not talking and not interacting and not like the whole fabric of this is a whole different podcast again, got from sugar to here. But the whole way we move through life as human beings is fully different now. It's depending on.
Your phone does 90% of the heavy lifting.
And
There
it's
you
just
are.
uh-oh.
I
I'm
can hear
back.
you.
I don't know what happened. Okay. Chan was calling me, but now my timer restarted, so I hope the podcast didn't get mixed up.
I can see you still and hear you.
Okay. It was just that's it. Just going on a tangent, like the whole fabric of society and how we move through everyday life and what we spend our time on and how we interact with people. It's all funky now, and it's not good. And it's proof that it's not good, right? It's not boding well for any of us.
I know.
It's
It's weird. I was thinking about that like a month ago. We were having that remember the blackout when we had it?
yeah, that's what we talked about.
Or like even just like without phones. Like
Yeah.
you would just go and like find somebody. And
Yeah.
we're just like, yeah, let's just get on our bikes or go and walk to his house. And if he's not there, then we'll walk to this house. Oh, they're not there. They're probably at the bowling alley or seven. And you would just like a treasure map.
I know.
Go to find people.
I know. And you would actually like talk and hang out with them too. Like even now when we're together with people, I feel like everyone's kind of elsewhere, right? Everyone's kind of in their own little world, and it happens with me all the time. I'll get home from work and like have dinner with Rowan, and I'm like looking at my phone and I get so mad at myself. I'm like, "What are you doing, dude? Like just be
Yeah, you're just
here."
scrolling
Like
and scrolling and
you
scrolling.
just spent your whole day working and looking at phone stuff and interacting and making whatever. Like just yeah, it's
Check out for a
frustrating.
minute.
Yeah, I gotta get a hold of that. Hold on that. That's my personal. On top of sugar.
It is what it is, peoples. You're never going to be able to get it to like true zero.
No.
And like I said, it has several different names that companies hide it under: sucralose, dextrose. So it'll say no sugar, but then you look on the ingredient list and it has those on there. You're never going to get to that true zero. So it's super important to minimize it in the amount of foods that you eat. That way you can keep it as low as possible. Then those calories don't come up, the cravings don't happen, and then you don't have to worry about all those problems down the line.
And it's not just sweet foods too. Sugar's in potato chips. Sugar's in ranch
Breads.
dressing, and yeah,
All that stuff.
it's everywhere.
Now, should you guys need something to help you burn off some fat, I got an announcement for you. We have a brand new supplement on the Core 4 supplement site. It's called Torch. This is going to be replacing our Cardio Kickstart. And I personally haven't tried it, but there's people that have given it 55 stars out of 5. And you take it, again, it's called Torch, boosts your metabolism, speeds up weight loss, appetite control, gives you energy, supports the breakdown of fat cells. It just went live, I think, on Monday in our supplement store. So if you want it, We have the default picture up. We haven't snapped a real photo of it yet. But this baby will get you going. So if you need some help, if you're grazing all the time and you just need to kind of feel like you're present, this stuff is awesome. So grab away. Torch Fat Burner, it's called.
Torch.
Now,
Cool name.
like always, should you guys need the Torch Fat Burner or anything else that we have in the store, protein, greens, creatine, BCAAs, we carry it too. If you go to core4supplements.com and you're a podcast watcher or listener, if you use the code word podcast at the checkout, you'll save 10% off your whole order. And if you spend over $100, we ship it to your house for free. So if you want to get the fat burner, a couple things of whey protein, it'll arrive at your door for free, and you can still use the 10% off coupon. But I'm excited to try this baby. I'm the only one that hasn't done it yet. Torch Fat Burner.
Bingo bango.
Don't take it after probably 4 o'clock, though,
Yeah.
because you'll be up all night. But
Be
it
up all
enhances
night.
energy and metabolism during your cardio or HIIT workouts as well. Take 1 to 2 times per day, depending on tolerance. For best results, take 20 or 30 minutes before exercise or a meal. Get after it, people.
I would sweat so much. I
Oh,
already
yeah.
sweat so much. I would be sweating so much. It's insane.
Well, the cardio one that we had, it's like a thermogenic. So when I take it and I work out, sweat just like pours out of you.
Oh yeah.
But this baby should get you going. So if you like the cardio kickstart, try Torch, and you'll absolutely love it. But that is all, peoples. Have a great rest of the week, and we will see you all next Wednesday. Peace.
Adios.